Black Gun stars Ray Milland, Cinema 6 tonight at midnight.
The CBS movie Orca will not be seen tonight. Stay tuned for MSU versus Minnesota basketball. Michigan State basketball. Brought to you by Oldsmobile. See your nearest Olds dealer soon for his great line of 1980 Oldsmobiles. We've had one built for you. And by Capital Savings and Loan, serving Lansing and Michigan continuously since 1890.
Good evening from Michigan State University, East Lansing. This is Eric Overseth along with George Fox. Tonight, Michigan State, Minnesota. Judd Heathcote Spartans meet Jim Dutcher's Golden Gophers of Minnesota. The Golden Gophers are 7-3, 0-1 in the Big Ten. Michigan State 6-4, 0-1 in the Big Ten. Minnesota lost to Michigan 71-67 the other night, and the Spartans on the game you saw right here lost by 1 to Purdue. George, how do these teams match up tonight?
Well, Eric, I don't really think they do, but at the same time, I think Minnesota's a big team. They'll press, or they'll probably play a zone defense tonight for the most part. Michigan State will try to push the ball up the court quick.
And look for Kevin McHale, number 44. As he goes, so goes Minnesota. The Spartans of Michigan State have had their problems this year. They have played 3 contests and lost by a total of 4 points. 2 one-pointers and 1 two-pointer. How about the Big Ten, though? In the opening evening of play, 3 contests were decided by 3 points, 1 point apiece. Some of the personnel to look for here this evening for the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. There's Kevin McHale, number 44. He averages over 20 points, is their top rebounder, and was a second-team All-Big Ten for the Minnesota Golden Gophers last year. They started 4 freshmen last year and junior Kevin McHale. Another one of their personnel we should look for is a Michigan product, isn't he, George?
Well, Trent Tucker from Flint Northwestern is an outstanding basketball player. I visited with him for a few minutes before the ball game, and he really enjoys it up there, and he's a great basketball player.
The big Minnesota Golden Gophers against the Spartans of Michigan State. We're waiting for the introduction of players during pregame activities here at Jennison Fieldhouse. We'll be back in a moment after this message. All-Americans on this Golden Gopher team. And talking to some of the reporters that covered the Michigan-Minnesota game, they said that they played like high school players the other night. As Minnesota put Michigan at the line, and the Wolverines hit 23 of 30 from the line. Minnesota was only at the line, hitting 5 for 6. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are a big, slow team. I would imagine that the Spartans of Michigan State will run them here this evening. Minnesota the other night had 20 turnovers to Michigan's 13 down at Ann Arbor. As we get all set for introductions here at Jennison Fieldhouse, there's Don Berkovich, Mike Berkovich's brother.
I think a
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
class way of explaining that was the way Dutcher said the officiating wasn't bad, the fouls just went against us.
That's the public address voice of Terry Braverman here at Jennison Fieldhouse as we get set for the introductions.
Starting at guard, 6'2" sophomore from Springfield, Massachusetts, number 24, Mark Hall. and for the defending Big Ten and national champion Michigan State Spartans. Starting at guard, at 6'1", sophomore from Birmingham, Michigan, number 5, Kevin Smith.
His high this year, 13 points. He averages 10.
The other starting guard for the Gophers, 6'5", sophomore from Flint, Michigan, number 32, Trent Tucker.
He's the All-American, played at Flint Northwestern.
The
All-American
other starting guard for Michigan State, at 6'4", junior from Windsor, Ontario, number 12, Mike Berkovich.
And in that Minnesota Golden Gopher zone, they'll try to stop his outside shooting tonight. The Golden
Starting
Arm.
at forward for the Gophers, at 6'7", freshman from Vanguard, Florida, number 33, Zebedee Howell.
Another high school All-American. A big boy. He's averaged 4 points a game this
Starting
year.
at forward for Michigan State, at 6'6", freshman from River Rouge, Michigan, number 41, Derek Perry.
As you can see, the Spartans still unsettled on that starting 5. There's Derek Perry, new tonight.
The other forward for Minnesota, at 6'4", senior from 6'11", senior from Hibbing, Minnesota, number 44, Kevin McHale.
As McHale goes, so go the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
And the other forward for Michigan State, at 6'8", the senior co-captain from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands, number 15, Ron Charles.
Popular with the fans here at Denison Fieldhouse, 16-point average.
Starting at center for Minnesota, at 7'2", freshman from Lake City, Minnesota, number 45, Randy Brewer.
Mr. Basketball in Minnesota
and the
last year.
center for the Spartans, at 6'8", the junior from Lansing, Michigan, number 31, Jay Vincent.
And the Spartans will have to get a better performance off the boards by Jay Vincent in this basketball game. And I would have to say, going in, George, the Spartans should be favored to win this one.
Well, it's a must game for Judd Heathcote. I think if he can win this basketball game, he can win a couple 3 on the road against some pretty good ball clubs. So it's a must game. Judd cannot, the Spartans cannot afford to lose this game.
The officials this evening, Jim Bain, Burl Sell, and Bill Herzog. 3 officials used in the Big Ten. I think about the only conference in the country where they use three officials. The other night, McHale only got 14 against Michigan. He is averaging 23 a game this year.
No, there are a lot of coaches that test the fact that they should only use 2 and maybe not any at all.
Here's what Coach Dutcher says about Kevin McHale, one of the premier big men in the nation. He has the ability to score inside or outside. We feel he's one of the most complete players in the country. He can rebound, score, block shots, and he runs well, and he'll have to do that here tonight. Ron Charles, McHale, tip, and it picked off by Minnesota. That's Mark Hall. He was Mr. Basketball in Massachusetts. As the Spartans are in that matchup zone, Derek Perry in the middle. You notice that? Middle high, Jay Vincent and Ron Charles on the wings as we look at the Gophers.
Spartans are playing man-to-man right now, and maybe they're going to do that because they're smaller. They're going to try to take advantage of them with their quickness. Maybe you notice there also that Charles was sagging off and giving McHale that big shot to keep the ball away from Brewer.
McHale scores 2-0 Minnesota. They're in a 2-1-2 zone, aren't they? Underneath to Charles. He puts it up, misses, rebounded by Smith. He puts it up, is denied by McHale, gets it back. The fans love that hustle. Inside to Jay Vincent, off the front of the rim, cleared by the Golden Gophers. Hall brings it down. They have speed at the guards, good speed at the guards. McHale from outside, no, tipped. Finally cleared by Jay Vincent. The big man on the break. Tipped off by Trent Tucker from Michigan, or rather from Flint. And the Gophers go up 4-0 on the basket by, I think that was Tucker that got it.
Tucker got it, yeah.
Inside Jay Vincent. McHale clears. Up the side, they're running a little bit. McHale jump, shot, no. Charles grabs it.
That's a contrast from the other night against University of Michigan. We didn't expect them to push the ball up the court that quick.
Smith goes all the way. McHale picks up the foul. Kevin McHale, 6'11", fouls Kevin Smith. Let's look at it again.
As we pick this up on the replay, you can see Kevin Smith taking it right to him, but you're going against a couple 6'11", 7-footers, and he dumped it off, got fouled.
Not a shooting foul. The golden arm from the corner. Tucker all the way down to Hall. Inside. Does not get it. Rebounds himself. Gets it. 6-0 Minnesota as Mark Hall scores. And we have a timeout. Michigan State. A timeout for Michigan State. Timeout now on the floor with a score Minnesota 6, Michigan State nothing. There are 18 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first half. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
One of the best gifts you can give your family is a financially secure future. And Capital Savings and Loan can help with a 6-month money market certificate. This investment delivers top returns in just a short term with the kind of interest you need to help you reach those big goals in life more easily. Give your family the gift of financial security with a 6-month money market certificate from Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Here they come, Elmer. The best-selling diesels in America. 21 different models of the 1980 Oldsmobile Diesel V8s. When you see the kind of mileage Olds diesels offer, from Cutlass to 98 Regency, you can see why they won't be stopping for fuel very often.
Come have one built for you.
There they go, Elmer.
Oldsmobile.
Mike Berkovich will throw it in for Michigan State. Minnesota 6, Michigan State nothing. In the early moments of this one at East Lansing. And the Golden Gophers ran at him pretty hard there. Spartans didn't expect that. From outside, Derek Perry. Off the back, a 16-footer rebounded by the Gophers. Trent Tucker can shoot from any place. Inside it goes to the 7-2 big man. No. Vincent grabs it. Brewer is 7-2. Intercepted by McHale. And retrieved by Zebedee Howell for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. A turnover for Michigan State. McHale rolls to the inside. Michigan State in a man-for-man. On Tucker is Berkovich. Inside it goes as they take Kevin Smith inside. Do not score. Tipped up. Knocked out of bounds. That'll be Minnesota's ball. You can hear the ball players talking. That'll be a zone defense for Michigan State on the inbounds play. Tucker in the corner. Brings it out on top.
I think now as the ball game's being played, this is the type of basketball Minnesota, at first they blitzed State. State wasn't expecting that. Now they're going back to their half-court game with the big men. Now they're setting up in a 1-3-1 offense.
And Michigan State now in that matchup zone. McHale handles cross court. The shot not put away, but tipped up by Minnesota. They're controlling the offensive boards as Michigan State finally clears. Berkovich, no break, passes it back out to Jay Vincent, and the Spartans will set it up. Berkovich, top of the key. On the left side to Kevin Smith.
Michigan State's in a high-low post tonight, too. They've got Jay at the high post, Ron Charles low post.
And you talked about that the other night and thought they ought to do it with Judd listening. Now there's the outside shot as the Spartans are not hitting and they trailed 6-0. They have not scored in almost 4 minutes. Good defense, but the score, no score. The foul will be on Michigan State. Zebedee Howell, I think, will go to the line. And Kevin Smith picks up the first Michigan State foul. Zebedee Howell.
Sometimes as a coach you wonder when you're going to score that first point and if it'll ever come. The young man at the free throw line is from Florida, and I think it's of interest to the fans that there are 3 players from the Florida area that are at University of Minnesota, and that's really a contrast.
Well, he gets them both. They hit 5 for 6 against Michigan the other night. 8-0 in Minnesota, and Zebedee Howell cans 2 free ones from the line. Eight to nothing, Minnesota inside. The big man is fouled. Oh, he traveled. They call him for walking. Randy Brewer, Mr. Basketball in Minnesota and high school All-American.
See if it is steps. Yes, it is. He dragged his inside pivot foot. Good call, ref.
Spartans bring it up. They haven't scored yet in almost 4.5 minutes. Inside to Jay Vincent. Nice move. Was there goaltending, George? Did he jam it against the backboard? The Spartans have yet to score in this basketball. McHale inside to Brewer. Jump shot. Whistle blows. And for Michigan State,
the big man at the line is another one of the big men that come out of Minnesota. They grow him awful tall up there. He was 7'1", 7'2", and they got to be real impressed with this young kid.
Brewer gets his first point. 9-0 Minnesota.
All the reports on him were they were expecting to be a good basketball player next year.
Jay Vincent picks up his first foul. He's 6'8" on the big guy 7'2". He can't play him. Can he play him in front? That's kind of hard, I would imagine. Michigan State still has to score. They haven't scored in almost 5 minutes. There's Jay Vincent inside on the zone. I think he'll get the basket, George. Yes. First 2 points for Michigan State.
Good continuity call. A call like that really helps out. They needed that bad.
Zebedee Howell, foul number 1 at the line for the 3-point play. Possibly Jay Vincent puts it away. Michigan State 3, Minnesota 9. Spartans trail by 6. Both these teams looking for their first Big Ten win. Jim Dutcher in his 5th year at the University of Minnesota. McHale right at the foul line. Oh, what a soft touch. What a soft touch. McHale scores. Minnesota leads 11-3. Come on and double team Kevin a little bit. Berkovich right side. Top of the circle to Smith. That ball was kicked by Minnesota. An on-purpose kick counts. If it's kicked not on purpose, the ball's in play. Isn't that how the rule goes? Inside to Jay. Jay's traveling. Another turnover for Michigan State. That is 4 for the Spartans. Minnesota has 1. Minnesota leads 11-3. You know, if you're on the road in the Big Ten and you can split for a weekend, that's good. But if you're at home, you can't afford to lose at all. The Spartans, of course, lost that first one Thursday night. McHale along the baseline, stuffs it. 13-3, Minnesota. 6 points for McHale. Berkovich from outside puts it home. Basket by Mike Berkovich. 13-5.
Foul
Minnesota
on Ron
leads.
Charles. Got a foul on Charles right there.
That'll be the first foul on Ron Charles, the 3rd team foul on Michigan State. And for Michigan State, we have Kurt James coming in. Derek Perry going out. Kurt James, the junior college transfer, 6'7", a junior, 210 pounds. He is a little better than a 2-point average. His high this year is 12 points. Michigan State is in the matchup zone now. McHale along the baseline. With the ball is Mark Hall. Trent Tucker handling.
As we watch this with McHale at the high post, a year ago he was a center. This year he's playing forward, but in a 1-3-1 he plays up at the high post. It's nice you can do that when you have a 7'2" guy playing on the baseline.
13-5, Minnesota leads against the Spartans of Michigan State. The foul on Kurt James. That's State's 4th team foul. High feed. Didn't go. James all the way down to Berkovich. He should get it. He does. Berkovich. 4 points. Minnesota 13, Michigan State 7. Good lead pass by Kurt James. Inside it goes to Brewer. Jump shot along the baseline. He misses. Gets his rebound. Misses again. Finally scores.
Basket by Randy Brewer.
15-7. The Spartans trailing. Minnesota. Berkovich takes the one dribble, puts it up. Now, I'd imagine in the scouting reports, it's a good idea to make him take that one dribble because he shoots better from the set position. Golden Gophers set up. Trent Tucker. Zebedee Howell. Fights with James. James gets it. Michigan State. Berkovich going to go all the way. No. Didn't put it home. I think that'll be a foul on the Golden Gophers of Minnesota. And Berkovich, no, I guess they called the foul. They called the foul before he shot. Trent Tucker picks up his first foul, 13th foul on Minnesota. 15-7. Minnesota leads Michigan State with a basketball.
He missed Berkovich on a baseline pass over there on the out-of-bounds play. Boy, when he's open, he should have the ball.
Now let's see what they do. Got a 5-on-4. Charles from outside. Draws air. Vincent gets a rebound and scores.
Basket by Jay Vincent.
Vincent scores. Michigan State 9, Minnesota 15. The Spartans trail by 6. That's a lot of timber on the inside there. 6-11 and 7-2 for the Golden Gophers. Jim Dutcher coached at Eastern Michigan in his 5th year up at Minneapolis. Nice penetration. And the ball is lost by Mark Hall. But Minnesota will maintain possession. You know, Dutcher in 5 years has only had one losing season. That was last year. He won 11 and lost 16. Finished almost at the bottom of the Big Ten. He's a fine coach. Coached at Eastern Michigan. Played at the University of Michigan. And was assistant to Johnny Orr. The Spartans pick up the loose ball. Jay Vincent drives the lane. Puts it up. Does not score. Gets his own rebound. We have a whistle.
Foul on James.
I think James will pick up his second foul on the inside as we have a Golden Gopher, Minnesota. They're going to call that on Charles.
Brewer just checked back into the lineup.
Ron Charles picks up his second foul. That's a 15th foul on Michigan State. And in there now is Gary Holmes, another high school All-American, number 42. He's 6'10". So they have a 6'10", 6'11", and 7'2" guy in there now for Minnesota. The little 6'10" guy right there, the ball plays outside. Brewer from the baseline scores. 5 points for Brewer. He's only averaging 6 points. His high this year, 18. 17-9, Minnesota over Michigan State. In the first half here at Jennison Fieldhouse, East Lansing. Cross court to Ron Charles. Top of at the foul line to Vincent. The ball is free, finally picked up by Minnesota. That's Mark Hall. Judd is off the bench, yelling about that. Tucker. Left side here to Gary Holmes. Across it goes to Mark Hall. The shot, no, tipped up and in by 6'10" Gary Holmes. His first 2 points, 19-9, Minnesota. And we have a timeout. Michigan State on the floor with a score. Minnesota 19, Michigan State 9. 11 minutes, 7 seconds remaining in the first half. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
Watch this. New Olds Cutlass Calais.
Check it out.
Check it out. Take a look at all the cars in America.
Oh, wow.
Compare style, price, mileage, and resale. No wonder Cutlass is America's best-selling car.
Nice car, sir.
Sir?
We've had one built for you.
Sir.
Oldsmobile.
Happy times, times to remember. Capital Savings and Loan can help you plan for them with high-interest savings plans. We offer savings certificates with no minimum deposit, all with the top interest you need to help you reach those special goals. You simply choose the plan that best meets your needs, then deposit any amount you wish for the required term. For the happy times financial security can bring, save at Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Rob Gonzalez and number
We're back at
42,
Jennison Fieldhouse for the second act of this play, and there's a whole new cast of characters for Michigan State. It'll be Terry Donnelly, 11, Mike Longacre, 23, Rob Gonzalez, 35, Steve Bates, 52, and number 42 for Michigan State. The Spartans have in there Rick Kay from Detroit Catholic Central as they work against this Minnesota zone, the 2-3 zone. Rob Gonzalez. Donnelly, Longacre, no. Kay gets the rebound, scrambles for the ball, and I think we'll have a jump ball. That'll be Rob Gonzalez, 6'7", jumping against Gary Holmes, 6'10".
People probably wonder why Judd does this mass substitution, but he's down 19-9, and I think he's doing it for a little shock effect because Minnesota owns the boards right now.
And the Gophers get the tip and bring the ball down 19-9, Minnesota over Michigan State. I think that running at Michigan State early unnerved the Spartans. Nice interception by Longacre. He's going to take it all the way, and oh, he misses. Mike Longacre, one of the smaller men on the floor, 6'2". He's a senior. Mark Hall, right side to Trent Tucker. Back to Tucker. Hall, left side, Holmes. Looks inside, sees Brewer. Back out top of the circle, right side. Tucker from Flint. Puts it home, 4 points for Tucker. 21-9. Minnesota leads Michigan State. Terry Donnelly in the inside and intercepted as Rick Kay tried to pass it off on the side. Taking the ball down, attempting the penetration. 32, Trent Tucker. Left side, Holmes. Tucker. Mark Hall as they move the ball all the way around. The basket is thrown up by Holmes, rebounded by Rod Gonzalez. Longacre moves it up for the Spartans. 21-9. Michigan State has not let it go at this time. Terry down the middle, passes off to Gonzalez. One bounce, looks. Steve Bates, top of at the foul line, misses short. Rebounded by Minnesota's Trent Tucker. He's one of the 4 sophomores on their starting team. That's McHale. Inside to Brewer. Reverse. No. Nice rebound by Steve Bates, the big man for Michigan State. 6'10". Donnelly gets nice penetration. Rod Gonzalez in the corner. Longacre back to Donnelly. Longacre handles it again. That let him shoot from out there all day, wouldn't he? Donnelly looking.
I think the teams now are understanding that Michigan State does not have strong outside shooting. Consequently, they're just backing off, and also before, when Jay was at the high post, they're almost double teaming him all the time. Another turnover, Spartans.
Donnelly travels. Michigan State is trailing the Minnesota Golden Gophers 21-9. As we are a little over midway in the first half. How about that score? Michigan outlasting Iowa this afternoon in Big Ten play, 68-65 down at Ann Arbor. So the Wolverines are 0-2. They won both of them at home. McHale rebounds, does not score, is fouled. Other Big Ten scores, and listen to this one. At Wisconsin, the Badgers beat Indiana 52-50. Another close one. Here's another one at Illinois. The Illini 81, Northwestern 71. And here's a bit of a surprise. Kentucky defeated by Tennessee 49-47.
You know, they say anything can happen, but this McHale is shooting 95% from the line, and he just shot an air ball.
That was fouls on Rick Kay, his first. It's 22-9. Minnesota leads. McHale picked up his 7th point there. Rick Kay doesn't go. Minnesota clears it. We have another substitution in there. Darryl Mitchell for the Golden Gophers. There's Donnelly almost getting it. Now Longacre picks it up. Runs into Terry Donnelly. They are called for traveling. 22-9. Minnesota leads. As we have an official timeout on the floor with a score, Minnesota 22, Michigan State 9. 7 minutes 54 seconds left in the first half. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
Time is money at Capital Savings and Loan, and the more time you give us, the more money we'll return to you. You see, we offer several high-interest savings certificates, and the longer the term you choose to invest for, the higher the rate of interest you will earn. And remember, Capital Savings and Loan offers savings certificates with no minimum deposit, so you can earn big interest no matter how much or how little you have to invest. Turn your time into money at Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Cutlass watches before you buy any car, watch this.
Hey.
Oldsmobile's new Cutlass sedan.
Just because you got a little family, you don't have to give up the sporting life. My new Cutlass sedan gives me all the economy of the other Cutlasses, plus 2 more doors.
Mama. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama.
New 4-door Cutlass.
We've had one built for you.
For Mama.
For Mama.
Oldsmobile.
Good shot of some of the Michigan State cheerleaders, national champions they were last year. There's 16 fouls on Michigan State and 3 on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. As we come down to, here comes Charles back in the lineup for Michigan State. He'll go in for big Steve Bates, transfer student, played in that Southeast Conference. As the Gophers throw it into play, Darrell Mitchell is in there for them now. Holmes handles, intercepted by Rick Kay. He travels, walks for the ball. Yeah, that in part has to be he's a right-hander and he's getting set to go up from the left side and takes a little stutter step. Jay Vincent on the bench for this. He's on the bench for Michigan State at this time. Charles is playing with 2 fouls. Minnesota working against the matchup zone. Trent Tucker from outside bags it. Trent Tucker, 6 points, 24-9. Minnesota leads. The Spartans of Michigan State. Donnelly takes it inside. Bounce passes to Rob Gonzalez. He is short. They can't find the basket tonight. Cleared by the Golden Gophers from Minneapolis. They put it in play against Michigan State. Is this the time when you come out of a zone? High feed to Brewer. Puts it up, does not score. Rob Gonzalez is fouled. Gonzalez is fouled. That'll be the 4th team foul on Minnesota. I think it may be against, it is, Gary Holmes.
Minnesota foul, number 42, Gary Holmes, his first. The team
Michigan
fourth.
State will throw it in. Do you think the Spartans might be wise just to come out of the zone,
well,
go into a man-for-man, get some motion?
Kevin Smith's coming back into the ball game for Longacre, and I don't know, it's just a case of a lot of frustration out here right now, and they've got to certainly get it back, get Jay and the boys back in there and just go to work.
The Spartans have really not played a complete game. There's an interception. Nice feed. Right back, puts it home. Minnesota scores. That basket was scored by Darrell Mitchell. His first 2 points, 26-9. Minnesota leading. Berkovich getting set to come in for Michigan State. As the Spartans are frustrated here in the first half at Jennison Fieldhouse with a little less than 6 minutes to go in the first half. I mentioned they have not played a complete good game. Underneath to Rick Kay. He puts it up, does not score. Charles gets it. Kay gets it back, puts it up and scores. Good hustle by Rick Kay from Livonia, Detroit Catholic Central. He scores for the Spartans. 26 for Minnesota, 11 for Michigan State. Zebedee Howell handling to McHale back on the right side. The big shot put away. Trent Tucker, 8 points, 28-11. Donnelly carries it all the way. The ball goes out of bounds. It'll be Michigan State ball. Here comes Berkovich back in the Michigan State lineup.
12, Mike Berkovich replacing Rob Gonzalez.
Rob Gonzalez goes out. Here for the...
Gary Holmes back in the Minnesota lineup replacing Randy Brewer.
Brewer is going out, and coming in is Gary Holmes. They don't lose a lot of height there, about 3 inches, but they're both very tall basketball players. Rick Kay, Berkovich, Donnelly. Minnesota zone. Right side to Kevin Smith. Top of the circle, Donnelly. High feed to Charles. Puts it up and in. Nice feed by Donnelly. And for Charles, that's his first 2 points.
Well, definitely the rest of this first half, they're going to have to stop or at least slow down and get within 10-12 points of this team at halftime. They're handling the ball very well right now in Minnesota. They're getting organized, as you can see. Tucker's out front trying to tell them to get set up. It's going to be tough to come back.
Minnesota 28, Michigan State 13. Rebounded by the Golden Gophers. Gary Holmes. Ball is finally cleared by Michigan State's Berkovich. Brings it down. Left side to Smith. Looks for the shot. Doesn't take it. Now the Golden Arm puts one up. It'll be an air ball short. Charles will pick up foul number 3. Ron Charles picks up foul number 3. And the Spartans, as we look at the replay here.
Okay, as you can see what Ron does, he moves in and almost undercuts him with his back right there, and certainly that's a foul, no question about that.
It shows a 17th foul up there, but I think it's a 16th foul. No, it is a 17th foul on Michigan State, so that'll put the Gophers at the line. So Zebedee Howell, as Jay Vincent comes back in the lineup for Michigan State, and Charles goes out with 3 fouls. Zebedee Howell, the freshman, will shoot 1 with a bonus root all. He's one of the Florida boys. He gets the first shot, so he will get the bonus. Yes, sir, ref. 1 shot to go. 29-13, Minnesota leads. Yes, nice soft touch. 4 points for Zebedee Howell. Michigan State turns it over. And they've had a few turnovers here in the
total of
first
9
half.
this half.
9 Minnesota has.
The thing with a
2, 4,
turnover, one thing about a turnover, if the other team picks it off and goes down and scores, then it's really then it really becomes a serious thing. If they just lose the ball and get down and play half court, it's not so bad. But about 4 State's turnovers have given them baskets.
Zebedee Howell handles inside of McHale, right side. Nice play. Does not score. Cleared by Michigan State. Smith 3-on-2. Right side Donnelly. Get it. No. And Gary Holmes clears. 30-13. Little more than 4 minutes remaining, first half. Here's a good shot of Jim Dutcher and his assistant coach from this area, Jesse Evans. Michigan State extending now as the Golden Gophers slow down. Darrell Mitchell passes to Mark Hall. Mark Hall bounce passes back to Mitchell. Goes on the other side to Mitchell.
I'm sure that Coach Dutcher really enjoys this right now. They're eating up a lot of time on the clock with a score of 30-13. He's got to sit on the ball, and hopefully he doesn't have one of these freshmen or sophomores put one up in 20-25. That was a good shot right there.
Gary Holmes put one up and scores. 32-13. Minnesota over Michigan State. 4 points for Gary Holmes. Well, they fall back. That back line of Minnesota is just way back in there. Harry Donnelly.
Official timeout.
As we have an official timeout on the floor with a score. Minnesota 32, Michigan State 13. There are 3 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first half. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
Cutlass watchers, before you buy any car, watch this.
New Cutlass, Harry?
Oldsmobile's 1980 Cutlass Supreme.
It's a surprise. Neat Cutlass, Harry.
Compare style, price, mileage, and resale. No wonder Cutlass is America's best-selling car.
Harry?
Share a new Cutlass.
Oh, Harry.
Happy anniversary.
We had one built for you, honey.
Time is money at Capital Savings and Loan, and the more time you give us, the more money we'll return to you. You see, we offer several high-interest savings certificates, and the longer the term you choose to invest for, the higher the rate of interest you will earn. And remember, Capital Savings and Loan offers savings certificates with no minimum deposit, so you can earn big interest no matter how much or how little you have to invest. Turn your time into money at Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Now it's comeback time for Michigan State. They have 3 minutes and 30 seconds here in the first half to get back in this basketball game. They trail 32-13. Have only put on 13 points. There's Tim Dutcher. To his left is Jesse Evans, who is from this area. He played for Dutcher at Eastern Michigan and got his start playing ball at Pontiac Central High. They went on to Eastern Michigan and coached at Flint Northwestern. There's Judd Heathcote and his staff. Edgar Wilson to his right. Dave Harshman on his left. Minnesota puts the ball in play.
Okay, Michigan State went back to a man-to-man now, hoping that they can get something going. But the ball game, as you can see on your set right there, the ball game is being won and lost right on the boards, and this is I can't believe how Michigan State is getting out-rebounded.
Derek Perry, 41 there, comes back in the basketball game.
42, Rick Kay.
Picking up the foul, Rick Kay, his second foul.
On the line,
And Minnesota in that bonus situation. Michigan State in the bonus, or rather Minnesota, has only fouled 4 times, so they may not even get into it the first half here. First one put in by Holmes, so he'll get the bonus.
The big man at the line is another Florida product. He played a lot of basketball last year. In fact, he started a lot of games for Dutcher up there, and the kid's got a lot of class.
He gets them both. Michigan State comes down 34-13, Minnesota. About 3 minutes left here, first half. Berkovich, left side, short. Everybody's a little short tonight. Mark Hall, Daryl Mitchell with that basketball game. Rather, basketball. 33 there is Zebedee Howell. There's that little double post working very nicely as Holmes dumps it into McHale on the shorter post. Michigan State fouls. 34-13. Minnesota leads. The Spartans pick up the foul, and it's one of those nights. Second
you can
foul
see on the replay here, Jay gives him a little shove before he goes up and releases the ball. And I think also we can notice that as soon as Michigan State went back to that man-to-man, how patient Minnesota gets. They don't force anything up, and they try to go to the big man inside because State really can't handle him.
McHale gets them both. He's over a 90% free throw shooter this year. Played in the Pan American Games for the United States. They won a gold medal down there. 36-13. Minnesota leads. The Gophers would love a split on the road. They lost to Michigan the other night. Inside, Derek Perry, as he tries to double post it in. The Jay Vincent gets it back, goes up. I think you get a 3-second violation. No, he calls traveling on him. He was in there long enough to pitch a tent, though. Here's a replay on that.
Here it comes now. Perry goes up with it. About 3 steps right there. Yeah. The referees aren't always wrong.
A coach said that, sport fans.
A retired one.
A retired coach. Inside to McHale, right back to Holmes. Nice, along the baseline, back out to McHale. Boy, they move that ball. He goes in and scores. He's the first gentleman here tonight in double figures. 11 for him. Minnesota 38, Michigan State 13. Donnelly. Boy, they set that zone deep. The back 3 men are almost out of bounds. Kevin Smith. Kevin gets it back. Baseline to Jay Vincent. Knocked out of bounds.
See, the reason
Gary Holmes.
The reason they can set that zone so deep, because right now State does not have a shooter that can hit from the wings. They pushed they pushed Berkovich out a little bit, and he's not a 30-foot shooter. He's a good 22-foot shooter, but they've got him out beyond his range.
Donnelly misses. That's 3 he has missed tonight. And James comes in for Michigan State.
And as these teams watch Michigan State, the word's getting out now that Kevin Smith and Terry Donnelly are just not hitting from the outside, and they're keying on everyone else.
The Spartans couldn't buy a basket with a silver dollar from outside. 38-13. Kevin's got to throw one up here. See if he can miss. Top of the circle, right side. Kevin Smith drives that baseline back out to Kurt James, scores. The foul will be on Gary Holmes. Kurt James scores for the Spartans. It's 38-15, Minnesota. That's a second foul on Holmes. James gets 1 here to get the 3-point conversion with 1:29 to go. He misses it. McHale rebounds. We have 1 minute 26 seconds to go the first half at Jennison Fieldhouse. Daryl Mitchell with some nice ball handling. Being chased by Terry Donnelly. There's the double team. He gets rid of the ball to Mark Hall. They may just stall for the last shot here.
Well, I'm not sure they'll hold it that long, because there goes 2 inside.
Into McHale. Jay Vincent on him. Zebedee Howell. Daryl Mitchell. Donnelly is on him. Oh. Forces it in, knocked out of bounds. Off the hands of Kevin Smith. Minnesota will retain possession. 52 seconds in the first half. They're all set for play. That's Berkovich. Bounce pass in. Donnelly intercepts it. It was a good thought. He threw it up there, but Gary Holmes intercepted for Minnesota. Has the ball right back. Mark Hall for the Golden Gophers. Little pressure. McHale comes out to relieve it. Hall gets it back. Devin Smith for Michigan State on him. McHale comes out again to relieve that pressure. As they look to the inside with 26 seconds to go.
It's nice when you can bring a 6'10" man out to relieve that pressure. That really makes it easy for a coach. Sit on the side and say, nice play, big fella.
Zebedee Howell now all alone, and in for the basket is number 30, Darrell Mitchell. And I think he will get the basket.
Basket for Minnesota by Darrell Mitchell. And personal foul on Mitchell, his first.
Mitchell picks up his first foul. It was a foul after the shot, only the 5th or 6th team foul against the Golden Gophers, so Michigan State does not go to the line. They lead 40-15 with 6 seconds left. Berkovich puts it up and does not hit again. Cleared way out by Mark Paul at the buzzer. He puts it up and does not score. We're at the end of the first half with the score, Minnesota 40, Michigan State 15. We'll be back with halftime activities after this message.
Here they come, Elmer. The best-selling diesels in America. 21 different models of the 1980 Oldsmobile Diesel V8s. When you see the kind of mileage Olds diesels offer, from Cutlass to 98 Regency, you can see why they won't be stopping for fuel very often.
Come have one built for you.
There they go, Elmer.
Oldsmobile.
The best times are the family times. Planning, building, watching your family's dreams take shape. And Capital Savings and Loan is there to help. We offer high-interest savings plans and thoughtful financial services to help families like yours reach those special goals in life. So let us help you build financial security for yourself and your loved ones. The best times are the family times. Plan for them with help from Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Good evening, I'm Tim Stout, back in our studio here at halftime. We hope you're enjoying tonight's basketball telecast of the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State on the road next week. They'll play at Northwestern on Thursday night and then at Indiana next Saturday afternoon. Our next telecast coming up on Thursday, January 17th. The Wisconsin Badgers are in town, and we'll have our pregame show with Judd Heathcote beginning at 7:30. You saw a great game, of course, here on Thursday night. Michigan State and Purdue, the Boilermakers, a solid contender for the Big Ten championship. Also on Thursday night, the big game in the Big Ten saw Ohio State playing host to Indiana. Two teams preseason in the top 5 in the country. It was quite a game, and we have some special highlights from that Thursday night bowl game to show you from Columbus from reporter Darrell Burnett.
Slowed by injuries to frontliners Mike Woodson and Randy Whitman, 11th-ranked Indiana left the fast break behind for this one. But the Hoosiers didn't miss it in Columbus. Ray Tolbert hits off the slowdown for an early 13-6 lead. The 5th-ranked Buckeyes finally came to life around the 12-minute mark of the first half, and Kelvin Ramsey and company put down 7 out of 8 to grab a 21-19 lead. Indiana answered that surge with a streak of 10 straight, led by Isaiah Thomas with 6 of a game-high 15, and Indiana was back on top at the half 32-27. Ohio State fought back to tie several times before Jim Smith gave the Buckeyes their first lead of the second half on this short jumper with 7:39 to go. Then the game went right down to the final 12 seconds. Sitting on the ball and a 1-point lead, Indiana loses the ball on the inbounds pass. Ohio State comes right back with a chance to go ahead. Ramsey misses the shot inside, but Clark Kellogg is fouled underneath by Glenn Grunwald. Kellogg calmly steps to the line and sinks a pair to give Ohio State a 59-58 edge.
Well, that was quite a game on Thursday night, and of course a great win for the Ohio State Buckeyes. You know, the other evening we showed you a lot of Irvin Johnson. You heard a lot about him. You heard from Irvin in our pregame show tonight. His teammate last year, Gregory Kelser, well, it hasn't been all that happy with the Detroit Pistons in his rookie season, and we have this special report for you now from Bob Hillman on Detroit on the first year in the pros for Gregory Kelser.
Like many basketball players, Greg Kelser's has been the same sad story, from glory days in college to bench warmer in the NBA. It's been difficult for Kelser to adjust to life in the pros, and the reasons are many. He has gone from a winning team at Michigan State to a losing team on the Pistons. The NBA schedule's a lot more demanding. Injuries have taken their toll on Greg. Man-to-man defense in the pros is a lot different than zone defense in college, and the Pistons' style of play is a lot different than what Kelser is used to.
You know, I've always played on a team that really ran the ball out. But, you know, we have the personnel here to do that. You know, we just haven't started doing it as of yet. I would like to think that I can fit in with this club in the long run.
While Kelser tries to find himself, Coach Richie Adebato has cut his playing time, so Kelser's confidence seems to be at an all-time low. This has made Kelser tentative when he does play and has created additional problems on the court.
What's Gregory's main problem?
Right now, it has been turnovers. He can shoot the ball and he will rebound if we can give him minutes, but he's been getting in the game and turning the ball over to the point where it's costing us shots and possessions.
From 5th pick in the NBA college draft to bench warmer. Not exactly what Kelser envisioned.
Never rode anybody's bench. But, hey, it's early. It's real early. So I got a long way to go, a bright future in this league.
Let's hope so, Special K. This is Bob Hillman reporting in Detroit.
And, of course, next Friday night, Special K gets his big matchup with Irvin Johnson down on the Pontiac Silverdome when the Pistons and Lakers play before 30,000 fans in their only matchup in Pontiac this coming season. One other piece we want to show you on halftime tonight, a backboard breaking incident in college basketball that happened this past month back in December. You know, Daryl Dawkins has done it twice in the NBA for Philadelphia. This is Bradley versus Loyola. The Loyola forward goes in, Ram in Chicago. He breaks the backboard there. You know, there's no real penalty for this in college basketball at all. You don't see many college players have this kind of a slashing dunk which gets a broken backboard. This has been the only incident so far in college basketball this season. Kevin Spruer of Loyola, the only college broken backboard so far this season. Roger Brown is with us again tonight with one of his special features about Michigan State University, and here's a look at one of the Spartans' smaller but very important schools.
Here in America, our abundant food supply reaches consumers, you and I, usually in a package like this one. But too often the package looks like this one. Dr. Jim Goff is a professor in the School of Packaging at Michigan State University. Jim, we have several different containers here. How do we keep away from dented cans and save money too?
Well, we're looking at the packages principally to get a cheaper package, but we're also at the same time hoping to reduce the number of dents.
This is a bit of a torture chamber here at Michigan State University. Let's take a look at some of the projects. For instance, this is a new way of shipping flour, but you need to test this kind of package, right?
That's right. We're evaluating this and comparing it with the one that was used before.
Okay. You test it for what? What happens if it drops?
It drops. It drops on an edge, which is the easiest way we've found to damage it.
Okay. And again, you do that by machine, which simulates something that happens out in the field. This looks like a little bit of a homemade disco machine. What does this do, Jim?
This, we're measuring the transmission of vibration through these foam cushions, the white thing.
Okay, that would be part of a package?
That would be part. It's a simulated package. Actually, the middle is a simulated package.
Well, the inside is still going to shake, but does it shake a little differently?
It shakes differently than the table.
Okay. What's the idea of the whole lab? Why do this?
We're trying to reduce the occurrence of damage and distribution, develop test methods that will reproduce the kind of damage we get in distribution in the lab.
And the whole idea behind modern packaging, it looks to me like, is to create less of a package.
Less of a package, more protective package. Energy saving, less reliance on tradition, more reliance on science.
Work here is pioneer work, work at the School of Packaging at Michigan State University. There are some 400 students here now, and packaging graduates are teaching other packaging students all across the world. And packages that you use were either tested or in some cases developed by people from Michigan State University. It's part of the Agricultural Experiment Station program here. With Jim Goff, I'm Roger Brown in East Lansing.
We're at halftime here at Jennison Fieldhouse with a score, Minnesota 40, Michigan State 15. I'll be back in a moment after station identification.
You're hungry, it's the end of the day. Domino's Pizza, just a phone call away. From the phone to your door, no one offers you more. And Domino's Pizza is fast. And Domino's Pizza will always be delicious from the first bite to the last. Fast, friendly, free delivery.
Check your yellow pages for Domino's Pizza nearest you. For the athlete in you, go to Vandervoorts. Vandervoorts offers this area's most extensive selection of Adidas shoes for on or off the court. No matter what sport you enjoy, you'll look great in Vandervoorts' famous name sportswear and jackets. Vandervoorts also features warm-ups by Adidas, Winning Ways, Speedo, and Court Casuals. swimsuits from Adidas, Speedo, and Arena, plus a full line of racquetball and tennis rackets. Vandervoorts for that winning feeling on North Grand River, Lansing, serving Michigan athletes for over 30 years. Black Gun stars Ray Milland, Cinema 6 tonight at midnight.
Halftime at East Lansing, Michigan State, Minnesota. Is it blowout time? What is a blowout in college basketball? The Spartans are trailing Minnesota. The Golden Gophers are leading 40-15, a 25-point lead for Jim Dutcher and his Golden Gophers. Coach George Fox, what do we do in a situation like this at halftime?
Well, you go in the locker room and you just wonder if you should even come out. You can't explain it. I think coaches dream about this. They probably have nightmares that it's going to happen. But to play for this long a period of time and score 15 points, they've got some serious concerns. Their outside shooting is really, it's just not there. Kevin Smith and Terry Donnelly won't even take the shot. And the pressure then goes on to Jay and Berkovich. They get pushed out a little too far. When Jay was at the high post, standing around the high post, they're collapsing on him. So it's just, I don't know. I'm just thank God I'm not in that coach's shoes tonight.
Well, Michigan State has only made 11 turnovers and Minnesota 6. They're getting one shot. The boards are being controlled by the Golden Gophers.
Well, with the two big men they've got inside, let's look at the next. I just think State's going to have to come out in a full court press. It's a shock. It's a whatever you call it, to use the expression, the blowout. Doesn't make any difference. I just feel sorry for Michigan State's players in the first half.
They're going to have to make some dramatic changes in that second half.
Well, they're going to have to come out and they're going to have to just play loose, relax, and enjoy it, and just try to scramble and do the best they can, because the game's almost, it's got to be over.
25-point lead for the Golden Gophers here at halftime, and the Spartans will come out, we're sure, with some different tactics in the second half, probably a man-to-man and a pressing defense after each Minnesota basket. We're waiting for play to resume in the second half of this Michigan State-Minnesota game. We'll be back with a tip-off after this message.
The best times are the family times. Planning, building, watching your family's dreams take shape. And Capital Savings and Loan is there to help. We offer high-interest savings plans and thoughtful financial services to help families like yours reach those special goals in life. So let us help you build financial security for yourself and your loved ones. The best times are the family times. Plan for them with help from Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Here they come, Elmer. The best-selling diesels in America. 21 different models of the 1980 Oldsmobile diesel V8s. When you see the kind of mileage Olds diesels offer, from Cutlass to 98 Regency, you can see why they won't be stopping for fuel very often.
Come have one built for you.
There they go, Elmer.
Oldsmobile.
There's the Golden Gophers of Minnesota returning to the floor here at Jennison Fieldhouse with, I would have to say, a very comfortable lead, 25 points. They lead 40-15 over the Spartans of Michigan State, as the Gophers are looking for a split after losing the other night. There's Zeke the Wonder Dog, who performs at all the Michigan State football games, having a little trouble on this hardwood floor at Jennison Fieldhouse. Let's have a look at those halftime statistics.
You know, the story of the stats here, with Vincent with 5 points, no one's in really any fouls. Well, Charles got 3, but Charles 2 points, Berkovich 4 points, James 2, and you know, it doesn't take much to add those up for a total of 15. But in the more important statistic is that Michigan State's been out-rebounded 26-12 in the first half.
For the Golden Gophers of Minnesota, and we'll check those shooting percentages too, nobody's in foul trouble. Holmes with 6, Mitchell 4, Tucker from Flint with 8 points, Howell 4, McHale, and he's the guy that averages better than 20 points a game. He has 11 here at halftime, so he's on track. Brewer with 5 and Hall with 2. The Michigan State Spartans have hit 7 of 28 for 25%. From the line, the Spartans are 1 for 2 for 50%. From the field again, Michigan State is shooting 7 of 28 for 25%. The Golden Gophers have hit 10 out of 12 from the free throw line and 15 of 32, which is really not great shooting. They're only hitting 46%, 15 of 32. But the Spartans are just plain not hitting from outside, and they're not getting the ball inside because the Gophers are letting them hang them up from outside.
There's an interesting score. Illinois 81, Northwestern 71.
That game at Illinois.
As we look at the statistics again, and as we sit at our homes and watch this basketball game, I'm sure all of us can just see, obviously, how Michigan State is just being dominated on the boards. You know, you wonder, they play a good Purdue team the other night. Let's hope that Michigan State doesn't get caught in this year, that they play awful good basketball against the real good teams. Then they come back and play the poor teams, or not that Minnesota's a poor team, but according to preseason predictions, and then they play this type of basketball. But it would be better if they could play good basketball against the poor teams and get beat by the exceptional teams.
Now the Spartans will be on the road next week, so things don't get any easier. On Thursday night, they play at Northwestern, and Northwestern beat Michigan State down at Evanston last year. They beat the national champs by 18 points. And next Saturday, Michigan State meets Indiana down at Bloomington. Hope you'll be with us on Thursday, January 17th here at Jennison Fieldhouse for our next Michigan State basketball telecast. That'll be the Michigan State-Wisconsin Badger game right here.
You know, I think another interesting thing about the University of Minnesota, looking over some of their statistics and about the place up there, Williams Arena seats 17,500, and they led the Big Ten in attendance last year. And you know, up there, that's just, you know, it's hard to believe, but with 17,500 people up there every game, I can see why they can attract some of these players from down around this area.
And Williams Arena was there 25 years ago, and I played basketball. It was very up to date then. As a matter of fact, in the same building as the Williams Arena is the ice rink that seats about 8,500. So they're way ahead of their time. The Golden Gophers control as the second half gets underway. Michigan State trailing. The high feed is intercepted by Jay to Kevin Smith. The Spartans will draw first blood. Kevin Smith gets his first 2 points. Minnesota 40, Michigan State 17. There's the press by Michigan State. Kevin Smith applying pressure on Mark Hall, who takes it right down the middle. No basket. The foul will be on Kevin Smith as the Spartans pick up the first basket and the first foul of the second half.
Here you can see Kevin's got his hand on him. He reaches in right there, gets a foul, and good call.
Minnesota puts it in play. Brent Tucker. Mark Hall. Right side to Zebedee Howe. Let's go a short 15-foot jump shot. And he gets the first two for Golden Gophers, 42-17. We are moments underway. Terry Donnelly in for Michigan State. Puts the high feed. Will that go in? Unbelievable. Woo! I don't believe it. They don't go in all night, and then they put that one in. Charles, that's only his fourth point. And we have a whistle. The pass from Terry Donnelly, and the thing went up, and it went in.
I think we're going to get a chance to look at this again. That's never doubt on that shot. Ron had that all the way.
Terry Donnelly picks up his first foul, second team foul for Michigan State this half.
Well, maybe that's a turn of things to happen here over a while, because this certainly is a different basketball game. It's hard to believe that this could happen.
Brent Tucker, a little pressure. The fans calling for the 5-second rule. Foul will be called. The basket will be disallowed as Berkovich. Oh, they gave him the basket.
This is coming back more into the college, too. Of course, in the pro rules, that continuation. Yeah. But certainly there, are these refs from the pros? I don't know, but that was a continuation basket.
You call it.
See it. There's a foul right there. Nah, good call.
Yeah, good call. He got it. That's the first foul on Berkovich. Third team foul on Michigan State. And Zebedee Howell was at the line. Minnesota gets that ball. Nice bounce pass inside, intercepted by, oh, he stepped out of bounds. Kevin Smith tried to control it, but stepped out of bounds. Minnesota will throw it in. Mark Hall In all the way out to McHale. Oh, he's nice to relief to have out there in front. That real big guy. Trent Tucker. Intercepted by Jay Vincent. Terry Donnelly gets it in the head. That's that kind of night. Goes up, scores with the left hand. Of course, Terry is a left-hander. 45-21. Minnesota leads here in the second half. Charles attempting for that interception, and he picks up his 4th foul. That'll be the 4th foul on Charles. In part has to be frustration as this game is going for the Spartans so poorly. Judd comes all the way out and asks the official if he wants to go out and grab a bite to eat after the game.
There's a good shot of Mr. Heathcote. George, relax.
Judd has a black eye, and even the guy that gave it to him doesn't know that he gave it to him. Kevin Smith, on their western trip in Las Vegas, went out of bounds scrambling for a ball, fell down and kicked Judd Heathcote in the eye and gave him a shiner. And even Kevin Smith, I don't think Judd even mentioned that to him. I wonder how he explained it to his wife. 45-21. The Spartans are trailing Minnesota. Donnelly right side. Kevin Smith attempts to drive on a tree. Kevin McHale. Berkovich from outside. No, he hasn't put one in from outside yet. Kevin McHale is bothered. The ball is put up and in by Ron Charles. 45-23. Minnesota leads. 6 points for Ron Charles.
Give Kevin Smith an assist on that. He stole the ball when the big man come down, and Ron grabbed it and put it in.
Charles is still on Kevin McHale. Michigan State now is in that man-for-man defense. Spartans pressuring all over the court. Berkovich gets the elbow from Zebedee Howell. That's Trent Tucker. Howell back to Tucker. Another elbow was thrown. Whoops, intercepted by Berkovich. Berkovich brings it down. Fakes, shoots. He can't even score one from 5 feet away, poor guy. Kevin still didn't shoot. Berkovich again from outside. No, air ball. McHale is fouled.
With the score 45-23, and again, when you see a young man like Berkovich miss a 5-footer and then throw one up from 20 feet out and air ball, I think it's just typical of what's happening.
15 foul on Michigan State. Donnelly picks it up.
Minnesota's had 6 turnovers here in the first 3 minutes and 10 seconds, but State hasn't capitalized on it yet.
Spartans are in a full court press. The ball is thrown into Trent Tucker. Brings it up. Kevin Smith is on him. Notice these college ball players dribble with either hand very, very well. McHale comes up again and relieves Tucker. And Kevin Smith reaching in once again.
Michigan State foul number 5.
We're going to get into that one-on-one real quick.
Hey, let's take a look at this again. Kevin's penetrating, trying to take the ball away. There's a foul, no question about that either. Sometime during the year on one of these replays, we got to find once when the referee is wrong. So far, we haven't seen it. And I've been getting excited all these years sitting on that bench thinking they're always wrong. It's got to be an offensive foul.
Trent Tucker picks up the player control foul. That'll be his first.
Well, let's see if I was wrong. I would call that an offensive foul.
Yeah.
That's why I'm up here and not down on the court.
Oh, no, they gave that. I went along with you.
Let's look at George Heathcote. Got a good shot of him right there. And he didn't like the call, and I don't blame him. He doesn't get very excited very often. And
Donnelly picks up his 3rd foul. That was a 17th foul, so already Minnesota is in the bonus situation. And I think someone moved into the lane after the ball was handed to McHale. So time is out on the floor with a score 45 for Minnesota, 23 for Michigan State, 16:23 to go in the second half. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
Cutlass watchers, before you buy any car, watch this. New Olds Cutlass Calais.
Check it out.
Check it out. Take a look at all the cars in America.
Oh, wow.
Compare style, price, mileage, and resale. No wonder Cutlass is America's best-selling car.
Nice car, sir.
Sir?
We've had one built
For you. For sir. Sir. Oldsmobile.
One of the best gifts you can give your family is a financially secure future. And Capital Savings and Loan can help with a 6-month money market certificate. This investment delivers top returns in just a short term with the kind of interest you need to help you reach those big goals in life more easily. Give your family the gift of financial security with a 6-month money market certificate from Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
You are watching something you'll very seldom see in Big Ten college basketball, a blowout. The Spartans were trailing Minnesota 40-15 at the end of the first half. The score is now 45-23 as the Spartans put it in play. Longacre is in and out. 23. Jay Vincent. The ball is kicked on purpose, so it'll be Michigan State's basketball out of bounds. Longacre will put it in.
Longacre's in the ball game, probably hoping that we can get a 15, 20-foot shooter in there with some consistency, because these teams know Michigan State is not hitting from the outside, and they're just sitting there waiting for him.
Inside to Jay Vincent from Berkovich. He puts it up, and he gets it. Jay only has 8 points tonight. Make that 7 points for him. He had 5 points in the first half. Has only picked up 2 points here in the second half. 45-25. Minnesota leads. The foul was on Brewer, his first.
That was the first strong move that Jay has made to the basket tonight. He stuck his shoulder right into Brewer's chest and blew him right out and got the, of course, then he misses the layup, or the free throw.
Nice pass over. The basket by Zebedee Howell. 47-25, Minnesota. Terry, the Longacre. Donnelly, top of the circle, lets go. He is fouled. That time, Trent Tucker, as he went up, gave him a little bit of hand and a little bit of body. Picks up his second foul. Here we go.
Watch this now. There again, give him a shove off the hip, as you can see it on your screens at home. And as we watch this game again, I think Mr. Dutcher is very conscious. He does not want his kids to foul right now. He wants to keep the clock running, and the only possible way that Michigan State could get back in this basketball game is if there's a total breakdown with Minnesota.
Terry gets them both, 47-27, a 20-point lead for Minnesota. That was Brewer, the big boy, getting the ball. 3-on-2 for Minnesota. All the way in and scoring. Mark Hall. 49-27 Minnesota. Yeah, more substitutions getting ready to come in for Michigan State. Jay decided to pass off. It was off the hands of Kevin McHale, so it'll be Michigan State's ball. Herb Bostic, the Spartan substitution, played his high school ball at Royal Oak Shrine. He's a freshman from the Detroit area, 6'4", 186 pounds. Spartans will throw it in. Donnelly underneath to Vincent. Gets fouled, does not score. Nice pass by Terry Donnelly. Beautiful shuffle pass.
Terry penetrates real well with the... We're going to get a look at that again. Nice feed by Donnelly inside to Jay. Terry's really penetrating real well this year, but what he probably should do is slow down, get himself under control a little bit, and start hitting that 8, 10-foot shot.
Howell commits his second foul. Vincent gets the first of 2 and puts it away.
As we looked at that last replay, we could see that Terry Donnelly was really playing out of control, and he was fortunate to find Jay open.
49-29, Minnesota, full court pressure by Michigan State. Donnelly on Hall. 2 quick basketball players. There's a pretty good bit of contact.
Did someone say this wasn't a contact sport?
Into McHale. McHale jumps and shoots. Rebounded and put right back. There's the story of the game right there, as Mitchell had great position. No Spartans near him. Picks up the 2 points. 51-29 Minnesota. Falling back in that 2-3 zone. Jay jumps, shoots. No, and he'll be fouled. Darryl Mitchell gives me the who me. The who me look, and he committed the foul.
Mitchell is second, and
only the 4th team foul on Minnesota, but it is a shooting foul for Jay Vincent. With 9, that makes it 10 points.
Well,
51-30.
we can hit these free throws, and if Minnesota contributes to fouls as they have done here in the last few minutes, maybe we can build up a little respectability before the game is over.
Jay puts them both home. The bounce pass into Hall. That's Bostic on Hall. Number 44 on 24. Boy, that ball was all out of control, almost carrying it. McHale has the screen or the post set, gets a high feed. McHale puts it up. He set that post for a long time and finally did convert. 53-31, Minnesota. Traveling is the call. The back official called the turnover on Michigan State's Terry Donnelly. Minnesota will put it in play as we have a Golden Gopher substitution. And in for the Golden Gophers, 21, Andy Thompson, whose brother Michael was an All-American here just a couple of years ago for Minnesota. Andy is from the Nassau in the Bahamas in the Miami area. Played his ball at Miami. We have a player control foul committed by the Golden Gophers. Darrell Mitchell, as we look at it here again.
Okay, here we go. We get the good shoulder inside, knocks. Well, you could see it happen. He knocked Bostic down. Wasn't any question about the call either. Another good call by the referee for how many is that in a row?
Darrell Mitchell picks up his 3rd foul. Michigan State gets the basketball. Donnelly, Longacre, let's go, and I don't believe it, Mom. We just scored from outside. Longacre gets his first 2 points of the game, and the Spartans, more importantly, hit from the outside. That was about an 18-footer. 53-33. There's another offensive player control foul.
And this is exactly what Coach Dutcher does not want. Michigan State, as we watch this on our screens at home, Michigan State is working very hard. You can see here now this player comes in here way out of control. And the only way Michigan State can possibly get back in the ball game is for Minnesota to do that. And it's just needless play.
6-team foul on Minnesota. So both teams now in the one-on-one. And the foul was picked up by Mark Hall, his first. Good quick hands in that Minnesota front two in their zone. Bostic, let's go. He does not catch the front part of the rim at all. He's short. Minnesota rebounds. 53-33, 20-point lead. We are just about midway in the second half of the Michigan State-Minnesota game. The Spartans gambling. That was Longacre along the baseline and put up very softly and tipped again by Minnesota. That was McHale. He gets it back. And we should get the 3-second lane violation. We do, as Minnesota substitutes with Randy Brewer. And number 42, Gary Holmes comes in the lineup for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Brewer, this is what the coach has to say about him. He's the biggest player in the history of Minnesota basketball. Deadly shooter around the basket. We feel he has a lot of potential becoming a dominating shot blocker and rebounder for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. The block there was by Kevin McHale on Michigan State's Bostic as they get the ball back. 53-33. Whistle blows. Another turnover for Michigan State.
In this half so far, Minnesota's had 10 turnovers and Michigan State only 4, but at the same time they've each scored 13 points. Although Michigan State scored from 15 up to 33. A good math student knows that's a few more than 15.
Bostic and Longacre go out, and it's Berkovich and Kevin Smith back for Michigan State. I'm sure they told him to shoot. He did, but misses. Gets a rebound, but he stepped on the end line. It'll be Minnesota's ball.
There again, it's one of those nights. Kevin followed up on his shot real well, got the rebound, was on the out-of-bounds line when he dumped it back in.
Minnesota brings it up, gets nice penetration by Mark Hall, who throws it up and scores. Mark Hall, 55-33, 6 points for Hall. Berkovich. You have to throw the shots up. Donnelly from outside. That was long by Donnelly, rebounded by Jay Vincent. Jay is going to attempt to pass over to Smith. Ball is knocked out of bounds by Minnesota. And Michigan State will retain possession. Under the basket, Vincent throws it in. To Berkovich. Look at them. They're even falling off Berkovich. Donnelly, top of the circle. Looking inside, in the corner. Around to Charles. Charles jumps up and scores. Gets the basket. Charles gets the basket. Gary Holmes gets the foul. 55-35, Minnesota.
As we watch this here, Ron gets hammered real hard. Good follow through and lays the ball in. Should be a three-point play coming here.
Spartans have not exactly been torrid from the foul line this year. Charles converts that one, and it's 55-36, down to a 19-point lead. That's the first time in quite a while they've been that close. 9 points for Charles. Minnesota
turned the ball over quite a lot in this half.
McHale puts it up. The crowd thought he walked with the ball there, the stutter step. He fails to convert, and the Spartans get it.
And I think as you look at this game unfold, against a good defensive basketball team, Minnesota would probably, have trouble. The way this game started out, you can't get a true picture of them.
Gary Donnelly from 20 feet. 55-38, Michigan State. Minnesota with a commanding lead here at Jennison Fieldhouse. The Spartans, who had won 18 in a row, lost Thursday night, in danger of losing 2 in a row here at home. Nice feed. Brewer picks up his 7th point. 57-38, Minnesota. Yeah, that's the score, fans. Donnelly from outside again. Gets it. 2 in a row for Terry Donnelly. The Spartans trail by 17, 57-40. Midway, Ron Charles intercepts. Here's the dunk. Whoa! Oh, those are great to watch.
A high percentage shot, and then Minnesota calls timeout.
Timeout on the floor with a score. 57 for Minnesota, 42 for Michigan State. 11:07 remaining in the second half. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
Happy times, times to remember. Capital Savings and Loan can help you plan for them with high-interest savings plans. We offer savings certificates with no minimum deposit, all with the top interest you need to help you reach those special goals. You simply choose the plan that best meets your needs, then deposit any amount you wish for the required term. For the happy times financial security can bring, save at Capital Savings and Loan. Member FSLIC.
Cutlass watchers, before you buy any car, watch this. Hey. Oldsmobile's new Cutlass sedan.
Just because you got a little family, you don't have to give up the sporting life. My new Cutlass sedan gives me all the economy of the other Cutlasses, plus 2 more doors.
Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama. Hi, Mama.
New 4-door Cutlass.
We had one built for you.
For Mama.
For Mama. Oldsmobile.
The Spartans of Michigan State, who trailed by 25 points at halftime, are working their way back into this basketball game. They now trail by 15, 57-42. Minnesota has the ball out of bounds. There's 11 minutes remaining. He didn't get it in. Michigan State will get the ball. And the next couple of times the Spartans handle this basketball are crucial.
Well, if we can cut that down to 10 or 11 points, with right now that's true, Eric. As we look at this last 10 minutes here, if the Spartans can get another couple buckets here, they're back in it.
Longacre's back in there and scores. Mike Longacre hits a long one.
Longacre. Foul on Jay off the ball.
That happened as the ball was in the air, so the basket counts. It's 57-44.
Michigan State foul underneath.
The bonus rule is on.
Vincent, his 3rd.
Jay picks up his 3rd foul. That will send Minnesota
1-1.
Kevin McHale to the line.
As we look at George Judd Heathcote, there's an awful lot of frustration, but Michigan State is making a run at him now.
And this crowd is with him. Look at him down there in that south end, like they do in football, just waving their arms. McHale puts the first one home. He's hit over 90% from the foul line this year, and so he will get the bonus. 59-44, Minnesota. Donnelly lets go. Yes. Terry Donnelly. 59-46 Minnesota. 10 points for Terry Donnelly. We're almost midway through the second half at Jennison Fieldhouse. Down the middle, Trent Tucker. The ball goes out of bounds. It was hit by Michigan State. The Golden Gophers will retain possession. That's Longacre on the baseline on Darrell Mitchell, who throws it into Tucker. Tucker has Berkovich on him. Michigan State in a man-for-man. Longacre is guarding Darrell Mitchell. They've got some quick outside men. Tucker. Mark Hall. Kevin McHale comes way out underneath all alone, and a score by Minnesota. Trent Tucker. 61-46 Minnesota. They have to throw him up now. They can't take too much time to work that ball around. Inside it goes. Jay gets it up. Ron Charles rebounds it. Minnesota deflects it out of bounds. The Spartans will throw it in again. Exactly 10 minutes remaining in this basketball game. 61-46 Minnesota. They're still in that zone. They've used that 2-3 zone the entire game. Jay dribbles out of trouble. Top of the circle, Terry Donnelly. Back over to Berkovich along the baseline. Does not pop, throws it inside to Jay Vincent. Good hands by Gary Holmes of Minnesota. Knocked that ball free. So we're going to have a jump ball.
Jay put the ball on the floor right away. Let's take a look at that again. If there's a bad habit here with Jay, it's putting it on the floor right there in heavy traffic. Teams read that, and they're starting to going down after it real quick.
Jay will jump with Tucker. Tucker 3 inches shorter. The ball, I think, was directed out of bounds by Minnesota. Let's see who they give it to. Yeah, Michigan State's ball underneath. Kevin Smith, as the horn sounds, will come back in for the Spartans. 61-46. Who was the guy at the beginning of this game said that Michigan State should win? I guess that's why they play them.
Really?
Berkovich gets the inbounds pass. Underneath, nice pass from Mike Berkovich. Assist Berkovich. A nice 2 points for Jay Vincent. 61-48. Minnesota leading. And Berkovich gets the foul.
As time runs down here, we're going to get in a situation where Michigan State's going to have to put more and more pressure on them and foul them. These last 9 minutes and 30 seconds, they're not at that point yet. In another couple minutes, when we get down into 7-minute area, Michigan State's going to have to almost go into a do-or-die situation, and it's going to take a long time to play those last 5-6 minutes.
Darrell Mitchell, who has 6 points, is at the line. He also has 3 fouls. Cans the first one, so he will get the bonus shot. 62-48. Minnesota in a commanding lead. And he puts the bonus shot in. They're hot from the foul line tonight. Looking at those first half statistics, they hit 10 for 12, 83% from the foul line. So they're canning the free ones pretty well. Michigan State working against Minnesota. Smith, Longacre from a long ways out. That was a little long. State will get it. The Spartans will get the basketball. Knocked out of bounds by Gary Holmes. Berkovich in the corner, looks, feeds underneath to Jay Vincent. I think they're going to call that on Jay. Yeah, he backed in. That's a player control foul on Jay Vincent, his 4th foul. It's a non-shooting foul because it's an offensive or player control.
Big man's got good position on him. He sticks him with his shoulder again. Foul.
So Michigan State has Vincent with 4 fouls and 9 minutes to play in this basketball game, and they need him. 63-48 Minnesota. Longacre. They have excellent speed at the outside guard positions.
Hall is extremely quick. He penetrates very well at the ball, and he's hit some nice outside jump shots too.
He's from Springfield, Mass.
As we watch these free throws, this is where it's so crucial. As Michigan State now is going into that fouling situation almost every time down the court, Minnesota steps right up and makes it.
Boy, they're making them two. They're not only getting the first one, they're getting that bonus shot. Longacre comes out. Terry Donnelly comes in. Berkovich will return to the bench, and Herb Bostic will come in for him. And the arms go up as the Golden Gophers, leading 65-48, are on defense. Kevin Smith puts up an infrequent shot and gets it. 65-50. High feed in. The Mark Hall passes to Trent Tucker, who takes it from the corner. And Michigan State will get the basketball.
Those are the shots that turn coaches' hair is gray. That's a needless shot, and I'm sure Trent Tucker knows that. Even if it went in, it was a poor shot to take with the score the way it is with 8:40 left.
Well, you know, the report on him is he loves to shoot from any place.
And he's an awful
either
good
side
shooter.
of the 10-second line. Bostic, yes. Herb Bostic. Gets two for Michigan State, 65-52. The Spartans down by 13. Applying a lot of pressure on that ball. They'll have to look for those double team situations now and see if they can get some free balls here. Kevin McHale. Trent Tucker. Mark Hall handles it. Over to Darrell Mitchell. They're going to take a lot of time here and go for it up. They're going to try to sneak a back door in there. There's McHale going all the way and stuffing. Kevin McHale, 67-52.
Let's take a look at the big man. Here it comes. Bostic went over for the charge, but too late.
17 points from McHale. Donnelly underneath Charles. Beautiful stuff. You know, that is a... When Terry Donnelly goes up, he's got to either shoot or pass. As we get a whistle, but that was a beautiful feed. Charles get his 13th point, and the score is 67-54. Timeout now on the floor with a score: Minnesota 67, Michigan State 54. 7:35 remaining in the game. We'll be back in a moment after this message.
Cutlass watchers, before you buy any car, watch this.
You Cutlass, Harry?
Oldsmobile's 1980 Cutlass Supreme.
It's a surprise. Neat Cutlass, Harry.
Compare style, price, mileage, and resale. No wonder Cutlass is America's best-selling car.
Harry?
Share a new Cutlass.
Oh, Harry.
Happy anniversary.
We had one built for you, honey. Oldsmobile.
Time is money at Capital Savings and Loan, and the more time you give us, the more money we'll return to you. You see, we offer several high-interest savings certificates, and the longer the term you choose to invest for, the higher the rate of interest you will earn. And remember, Capital Savings and Loan offers savings certificates with no minimum deposit, so you can earn big interest no matter how much or how little you have to invest. Turn your time into money at Capital Savings and Loan, member FSLIC.
The Michigan State Spartans, who trailed by 25, have now cut that lead to 13 points for Minnesota. 67-54. We have 7 minutes 35 seconds remaining. Rob Gonzalez comes in for Michigan State.
Rob Gonzalez.
The sophomore from Catholic Central, Detroit Catholic Central. Evidently some debris has been thrown out on the floor here. This brand new wooden floor at Michigan State University. I think the cost was about $30-some thousand.
Credit that to the cheerleaders. They just did a beautiful routine. They were using pom-poms, and of course things fall apart as usual. That didn't even go right tonight.
Spartans will put it in play. Smith into Terry Donnelly. Bostic left side, looking baseline for Gonzalez. Terry throws it to Smith. Smith had big Kevin McHale come out. Terry puts it up, and it's tipped in by Herb Bostic. Bostic tips it in for Michigan State. They're going to disallow that. They're going to call that offensive goaltending, I think. You can tell how pleased Judd is about that.
Well, the rule is the ball was above the cylinder, but I think from our angle, Judd's discussing that with the referee. Did a good job. But let's watch this again. I didn't think Bostic could get up that high. That was not a good call. We finally got something on the referees, folks.
You know, the hand cannot be in the sphere if the ball
is above the basket. But in that case, from our angle, which we had a perfect angle on it, the ball was a little bit out in front of the basket.
Technical foul has been called. Kevin McHale, and it must be on the bench because it's a two-shot technical foul. Has not been announced to the crowd here. Kevin McHale hits 1 for 2.
Well, when it rains, it pours, and there's a good shot of Judd right there. And
same to you, fella.
you know,
oh,
that's like, what's the old cliche? When you got me down, you don't have to step on me.
69-54, Minnesota leads.
Watch how hard Michigan State's playing on defense. The kids have not quit. They're working extremely hard. They've been playing a tough man-to-man the whole second half. Just been one of those nights.
Underneath, put up, foul. Hall puts it up. Donnelly commits the hatchet act. That'll be 4 on Terry Donnelly. Shot of the Michigan State cheerleaders. Mark Hall has 8 points in this basketball game. Gets number 9. They're hitting from the line. 70-54 Minnesota. Just put it, lay it on the front of that rim, and she'll go home for you if it's soft enough. Herb Bostic dribbles, looks, doesn't shoot. Rob Gonzalez has it inside. Bostic to Gonzalez, nice feed, but no basket. As the whistle blows, Mark Hall.
You can always take light, in spite of a lot of frustration here tonight. Bostic's emerging as showing some signs that he might help him during the year. This is the first strong showing he's done, really, and it's encouraging to see. So as an old coach, you know, you always look for something good out of this, what's going on here, and Bostic's coming on strong.
Big jumper.
I didn't even jinx him at the free throw line when I said that. There's my man Dutcher. He's, you know, wondering what this game's all about.
Mark Hall picked up the foul. As you can see, Bostic's a swing man, forward or guard for Michigan State. Second shot is not put away. 71-55 Minnesota. We're down now to 6:45. All the way in he goes. Yes, on the basket. Mark Hall gets the basket. And I think he'll also get the foul after the shot.
Hall is extremely quick, and Terry Donnelly's working awful hard on him, but he's gambling. Now they're in that gambling situation. You reach around him one way to get the ball. He goes the other way, and no one's picking him up as he's coming in penetrating either.
And for Hall, that was he shot his average tonight, 12 points. Jay Vincent will go to the line for the Spartans of Michigan State. Nice to see Jay hit that first one. You get a chance at the bonus shot.
His free throw shooting is not as good this year as it was last year, so let's hope he stick these in.
73-57, full court pressure by Michigan State. McHale just holds that ball way up in the air. He's got to do something with it, though. That 10-second clock is running. Gets it across the timeline to Gary Holmes.
All the old-timers watching us tonight see a kid 6'10", go a little fake and dribble up the court. Times have changed.
Yeah. Used to say never hit the big guy on a break. All the way underneath, Trent Tucker puts it in. No. Charles rebounds to Smith. Michigan State Spartans get the ball down quickly. Herb Bostic to Jay Vincent, puts it in. Nice assist for Bostic, and Jay Vincent gets the 2 for Michigan State. 73-59. Timeout on the floor. With a score, Minnesota 73, Michigan State 59. There are 6 minutes and 1 second remaining in the second half. Well, we have 6 minutes to go in this basketball game. Don't forget our next game. I hope you'll be with us on Thursday, January 17th, right here at Jennison Fieldhouse, at the old Jennison Fieldhouse, for the next Michigan State basketball telecast. The Michigan State-Wisconsin game right here on Channel 6. And in the Detroit area, I hope you're enjoying this and will join us again on WKBD Channel 50.
As we look at the Wisconsin game coming up here, our next broadcast You know, you think you're going to get a breather once in a while, and of course today Wisconsin beats the big Indiana Bobby Knight's team, and you just wonder when there's ever going to be a break. And apparently this year in the Big Ten, everything is going to be going right to the wire.
Well, there you are. January 7th, Wisconsin, then Iowa, Michigan, Illinois, Ohio State. Where's the weak sister there? There aren't any, as 5 of these Big Ten teams are among the top 20 in the country. Ohio State, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa. The game's on TV 6. Boy, we'll be with you for some great basketball action. Michigan State, top conference in the country. The Big Ten. Minnesota had a 3-on-1 break, and Tucker walked with the ball. He only had one shirt ahead of him there. He didn't know what to do with that basketball.
Played it so easy, he blew it.
The halftime score was 40-15 Minnesota. Spartans unable to get on track. Cross court, Kevin Smith, Terry Donnelly.
That's a shot Kevin's going to have to step up and start shooting. I'm sure he knows now he's going to have to change his role. Kevin's a good basketball player, but he can't penetrate. He's a penetrating guard, and he's got to, his role's got to change.
Spartans to lose the ball on a 3-second violation, and it's a nice interception and a basket by Herb Bostic. Interception by Ron Charles, a nice shot, and then a rebound by Herb Bostic. The Spartans 73-61, 12 points down now in this basketball game. Minnesota has a 12-point lead. The whistle blows. Minnesota gets the foul. Zebedee Howell will pick it up. And that'll put Michigan State at the line. Kevin Smith talking with Judd Heathcote.
Well, let's rephrase that. I think Judd Heathcote was talking with Kevin Smith.
Yeah, he was doing the listening.
On that last basket by Bostic, it was good to see. But Herb missed a real easy shot, and he followed right up and tipped it back in. And that, it's good second effort. I'm really impressed with his play tonight. That's an encouraging thing, because Judd is really looking strong for that 6th man.
Darrell Mitchell comes in for Minnesota. Mike Berkovich comes back in the Michigan State lineup for Bostic, who gets a nice hand from this partisan crowd.
Bostic,
he goes out of there with 7 points.
Bostic from Royal Oak Shrine, came in here much heralded, all-stater, high school, come in here with a lot of credentials, and adjustment was very difficult. But I think, and even in the preseason, he didn't get that much playing time, but he's sure coming on strong here tonight.
Terry has just scored his high for the year, 12 points. 73-63, a 10-point lead for Minnesota.
And the way the Minnesota Gophers are playing right now, this game is not over. I thought this game was over at halftime.
Terry Donnelly gets number 5. He'll leave the game, and Bostic will come back in. Terry picks up his 5th foul, leaves the game with his high scoring mark for the year, 12 points.
Well, let's hope the young man from Flint can cooperate with us a little bit and miss this. Good shot of the bench right there, and Terry worked awful hard in the second half.
Tucker gets the front end of a one-on-one, so he'll get the bonus. He hits that first one. He'll try for number 2, 74-63 Minnesota. He's another swing man at forward or guard. He goes either way. Puts them both home. They've been deadly at the foul line, the Golden Gophers. Inside to Jay Vincent from Kevin Smith. Jay puts it up and in. 75-65, 10-point all alone. The stuff by Mark Hall. He's only 6'2".
He made that look real easy. Again, there's that good percentage shot.
Timeout, Michigan State.
Now there's a timeout on the floor. With a score, Minnesota 77, Michigan State 65. 5:03 remaining here in the second half.
As you look at the shot over there at the bench, Judd got a little excited there because there was a mix-up between Bostic and I don't know who else was supposed to pick him up. It looks like he's talking to Kevin Smith. Apparently when Herb came in the ball game, nobody picked up the man that got the easy layup. And Hall sure took it to the hole, didn't he?
Now that lead is now 12 points for Minnesota. The Spartans have come a long way back, but they certainly had a long way to come there, trailing by 25 points. Be with us on Thursday, January 17th, Jennison Fieldhouse, for our next Michigan State basketball game. That'll be the Michigan State-Wisconsin game. The Badgers not favored to finish among the top in the Big Ten, but they're still a fine basketball team. That game will be right here on Channel 6 or right here on WKBD, Channel 50 in the Detroit area. Thanks for joining us tonight. Michigan State will throw the ball in. Berkovich to Kevin Smith. Spartans have to work fast with 4:59 on the clock. Bostic from outside. Short. Rebounded by Jay Vincent. He gets that long rebound, pumps it right back up there. I have never seen so many basketballs come off the front of the hoop as I have tonight. Michigan State only hitting 25% in the first half. They've hit a little better here in the second half. Minnesota putting it in play in a semi. Look for the good shot offense. Only take the good shot. Looking for the guy underneath to go all the way in. Rotating the ball. They've got the personnel to do it. Berkovich, I'm sure, is whistled down here. That'll send Minnesota to the line.
You can see Berkovich hand checking as he moved toward the basket.
Kevin comes out of there, and Mike Longacre.
Okay, here we go with the hand
Warren.
on the back, right on the hip. Good call by the ref. There it is, right there. It's a bad habit by defensive players.
By golly, they missed the front end of a one-on-one. I think maybe the first time tonight. That was Darrell Mitchell at the line. Spartans rebound. Longacre and Berkovich right side to Herb Bostic, the freshman. Berkovich all the way across course to Longacre, and he gets it home. 77-67, 10 points again. The lead by Minnesota. 6 points for Longacre. Darrell Mitchell, Trent Tucker handling with Bostic on him. Coming out to get that ball, Mitchell. Cross court to Kevin McHale, who handles the ball so well for a big guy outside. Tucker in the corner. Hits Mitchell.
He's rotating the two big men on the inside, and he's letting his three smaller guards handle the ball, and a big man like McHale right there pops out just to take a little pressure off him.
We have a whistle. I think it'll be on Berkovich again. Smith comes back in there. 77-67, 10-point lead for Minnesota. That'll be the fourth on Berkovich.
As Judd's talking to Berkovich, I'm sure it's been a long evening for Berkovich. He's a good basketball player. A little frustrated this evening, and Judd's giving him a little pep talk or something over there.
Well, he gets one there. You know, Mark Hall had 2 points in the first half for Minnesota. He's picked up 12 here in the second half to lead the Golden Gophers. Darrell Mitchell gets point number 10. Kevin Smith cans one.
And that's the role that Kevin Smith is going to have to start playing. He's going to have to start looking for the shot. In fact, all of Michigan State's players are going to have to start hitting that jump shot instead of looking inside all the time.
Now the Spartans will really pressure. 3:16 to go. 79 Minnesota, 69 Michigan State. Bringing the ball right down the middle. Trent Tucker right side to Mitchell. Have to look for that double team situation. Ron Charles out here on Kevin Smith, or rather on Kevin McHale. Tucker dribbles. Longacre on him. Over to Mitchell. That'll be on Bostic.
Michigan State foul, number 44, Herb Bostic, is first.
Bostic gets his first foul. I can remember a rule in the Big Ten, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, Purdue 30, Ohio State 29. It is a halftime score. That game being played at Columbus. Purdue is leading. Gets them both. Berkovich comes back in with 4 fouls. Right, this rule in the Big Ten, in the last 2 minutes, if you foul the team ahead, they got the ball out of bounds. Remember that rule? So if you got a 4-point lead, it was all over. They changed that rule. 32, Trent Tucker. His whistle down. Berkovich will go to the line. 81-69 Minnesota. 2 minutes 41 seconds. Burke probably the top free throw shooter on this team.
And we jinxed him.
All the way down. Look out for the stuff. He's going to get it. Mark Hall.
You mentioned before about the baskets that Hall's got in the second half compared to the first half. As we get a look at this again, here it comes, and I'm not sure we can go along with a call on that, although Berkovich did not hold his ground. He turned sideways and turned into him.
16 points for Mark Hall. Berkovich picks up foul number 5 and a very short lecture from Judd Heathcote.
With Hall's amount of scoring in the second half, you can attribute that to the different style of play. Michigan State's gone after him. He's beaten the guards and just takes it right on in.
Hall. I don't understand that. Didn't they give him the basket? They didn't give him the basket. It's a 2-shot. How can it be a 2-shot? No, it's a bonus shot. 14. That's 15 points for Hall. 82-69 Minnesota. I thought they gave him the basket. I wasn't looking. Berkovich has fouled out of this basketball game. That's Derek Perry right next to Mike. Mr. Brewer, Randy Brewer, was Mr. B-Ball of Minnesota in his senior year in high school, picks up his second foul late in this game. Sent Ron Charles to the foul line. And gets 16, gets point number 16. 82-71, Minnesota. 2 minutes 33 seconds to go. Boy, he is quick. Mark Hall. Mitchell goes all the way in, then throws the ball out to McHale. And Minnesota will a lot of time here. Look things over. Underneath all alone, Darrell Mitchell brings the ball back out.
Now Minnesota's gone into almost a complete stall because Hall had Longacre beat there and didn't even take it to the basket. And you just saw it again, and so did Tucker. Looks like they're going to go into a complete stall now. Michigan State's going to have to foul them to get the ball.
And Bostic does just that, reaches around, gets the foul, and send Minnesota to the charity line. So what happened the other night, where Minnesota sent Michigan to the charity line all night long and lost the game there, the Spartans late in this one have got to foul in an attempt to hope that Minnesota will miss. And Tucker does not, and he'll get the bonus shot. Rob Gonzalez, number 35, comes into the basketball game for Michigan State. Kevin Smith is out. He gets them both.
Trent Tucker's probably getting a lot of personal satisfaction out of this showing here tonight.
84-71 Minnesota. A minute 52 to go. Who are they going to call that one on? That'll be on Michigan State.
Michigan State recruited Trent Tucker very hard. In fact, talking to Judd and to Trent Tucker about this, Trent was planning on coming to Michigan State. As we look at this replay, I don't know, maybe a double foul there, but certainly Longacre didn't like the call, and neither did Mr. Heathcote.
Gets the front end of the one-on-one.
Of course, with Jesse Evans, the assistant coach from Flint Northwestern, that probably had a big bearing on Mr. Tucker going to Minnesota. When you got connections like that, you can get that type of player.
Minute 48. Herb Bostic high feeds Charles. Jay Vincent gets it and puts it in. 86-73 Minnesota. They could play now, couldn't they, George? They could really just go ahead and play a regular offense here, leading by this much with a minute 25 to go. But they're in a stall. McHale
The young players the young players that Minnesota has, this is good for them to hold this ball like this.
Good practice.
Sure it is. It's a lot better practice situation than you can get in any practice at home. And even though they could go out and make a blowout of it, worse than it is, it's an awful good learning experience.
Bostic gets the foul for the Spartans.
The crowd here tonight has been very appreciative of Michigan State's comeback. A few of them are filing out now, but they've stuck with the Spartans. They've cheered them and tried to encourage them as much as they could, and that's really something. Also, for our fans that'll be following us all through the winter, with the big schedule that we've got, I think it's going to be a pleasure to watch some of the great talent in the Big Ten. Even though it's very disappointing for Michigan State tonight and all of our followers, there's some great basketball. It's fun to watch a kid like McHale play. Bostic.
Herb Bostic. Very little body contact, folks. I think that's 7 points for Bostic. He may have missed one there, so he may have 9. 88-75, a minute and 2 seconds.
That's what you like to see. Bostic just picked up Tucker and, you know, give him a little help, and you like to see that. After you knock a guy down, it's a lot better to pick him up than to step on him. Of course, then they don't get so mad and take it out on you when you knock them down the next time.
They are really converting from the foul line. Oh, it's 1-on-1. They put 10 tons of points in from the foul line tonight. And 18. 18 points for Trent Tucker. I don't think they're going to give him that last one. No basket. There was a lane violation. So he has 17 points. 89-75, a minute and 2 seconds. And the Spartans will have undoubtedly picked up their second Big Ten loss. Minnesota goes home after a road trip. They'll go home 1-1. They lost at Michigan, win here at Michigan State.
There's a little 8-footer that Jay should have put up too. I think all of those guys have got to realize their role has to change. Those players are going to have to put that ball up from 8-10 feet. They cannot continue to look inside.
This will be the first loss to Minnesota for Michigan State in 3 years. Minnesota defeated Michigan State in Judd's first year as Longacre converts. Minnesota beat Judd's teams both times that first year, but the last 3, as Minnesota throws it out of bounds, Judd has been victorious both here and on the road. 37 seconds. And she'll be history. 89-77 Minnesota. Ron Charles took a spill, and the crowd across the way got up in great concern. They thought he may have turned his ankle. They pick up a foul. Trent Tucker. And Charles will go to the line. There was a collision over there.
As we look back in this basketball game tonight, I think the whole problem started in the first 3 or 4 minutes. They came in here and they took it right to Michigan State. Michigan State was not ready for that, and they never recovered from it.
Brevity Howell comes in, and Trent Tucker leaves the game with 17 points, embraced by his coach. Played a good basketball game tonight. Jay Vincent, 31. 33 there is Zebedee Howell. This is Ron Charles.
There are probably a lot of people from the Flint area here, and they can be very proud of what Trent Tucker has done here this evening. And it's nice to see Jim give him a big hug over there and appreciate his actions here tonight. That's what this game is all about.
Well, I think Herb Bostic may have just fouled out of his first college basketball game. 5 fouls on Herb Bostic. He leads with 7 or 9 points. Phil has him here with 9 points, and I have him with 7 points. Herb Bostic.
We're getting a look at the bench over there, and Judd and the rest of the Spartan coaching staff came up and gave him a hand and clapped for him. And that's a very encouraging thing, because Herb certainly was in this basketball game.
One freshman, Herb Bostic, Royal Oak Shrine, fouls out. Another freshman from River Rouge comes in for Michigan State. Darrell Mitchell is at that line. I think they have a franchise on the foul line tonight, Minnesota. Not only on it, but hitting from it. 16 points for him, 91-78. A long bomb by Longacre. It's a 2-on-1 for Minnesota. They don't take it. And coming back down, and that's the reason you come back down, to pick those passes off. Rob Gonzalez gets it. Jay Vincent from way outside, 18 feet, and it goes home for him. 21 points for Jay Vincent in 91-80, all the way down. A stop. Whoop, Mark Hall. Minnesota intercepts 93-80. Minnesota. Ball knocked free by Rob Gonzalez as the gun sound, the horn sounds, and the final score here at Jennison Fieldhouse. Minnesota 93, Michigan State 80. That's the end of the game. That final score, Minnesota 93, Michigan State 80. We'll be back with a wrap-up after this message. 93-80, and George Fox just asked me, how do you explain that? I don't know how you explain it, George, but I'll tell you this. If I was the coach or any of the players at Michigan State, I'd move my bed tonight so I wouldn't get up on the same side I did today.
Well, let's hope they don't panic. They certainly came back pretty strong.
The scoring for the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers. Mark Hall ended up with 17. Darrell Mitchell, 16. Trent Tucker had 17 points. Zebedee Howell with 8 points. Gary Holmes, 6 points. Kevin McHale, 18. And Randy Brewer with 7. For the Spartans of Michigan State, Kevin Smith, 6. Terry Donnelly, his high for the year, 12. Berkovich, 4 points, all in the first half. Ron Charles, 17. Jay Vincent, 21. Kurt James, 2. Rob Gonzalez played, did not score. Derek Perry the same. Herb Bostic came off the bench and scored 9. And Mike Longacre had 8. Steve Bates also saw a little action for Michigan State University. And Rick Kay from Detroit Catholic Central finished the game with 2 points. So the Spartans lose their second in a row in the Big Ten, their second in a row at home, and that hurts in this Big Ten race.
As we look at this game, you wonder about it, and I hope that we can just recover from it. Got a big game next week, so here we go.
This is Eric Forseth along with George Fox. Thanks for joining us. That final score once again, Minnesota 93, Michigan State 80. Michigan State basketball has been brought to you by Capital Savings and Loan, serving Lansing and Michigan continuously since 1890, and by Oldsmobile. See your nearest Olds dealer for his great line of 1980 Oldsmobiles. We've had one built for you.